By Hurricane Francine begin the work of rebuilding. A major part of that process, hiring contractors. The Home Builders Association of Greater New Orleans wants to stress the importance of hiring local licensed builders. Dan Mills from the Home Builders Association of Greater New Orleans is joining us now with some tips. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very timely interview here to talk about, those sorts of things you need to know as you're hiring contractors. Luckily, it seems like a lot of folks may have escaped with any major damage, but we do know some folks saw flooding, some roof damage, so people are going to be in need right now. What do you want them to know?
Well, of course, the Home Builders Association is the home of local licensed contractors. And let's talk a little bit about what licensure is. So the Louisiana State Licensing Board of Contractors has different licensures out there, and it's important to recognize that there are different ones. So there's a home improvement license. So anytime you have work done on your home that costs more, aggregated total amount of money to one person, over $7,500, the Louisiana requires a license. Home improvement license is the entry level. They're allowed to do work over $7,500, but not more than $50,000. And they cannot do any structural work. So no additions, no removal of bearing walls, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit limited there. They will be insured and they will have workers' comp. The next two types are commercial and residential license, and they're not the same. If they have a commercial license, doesn't mean they can do residential work. Residential license is for all structures that are residential housing up to 4 units. Commercial license is anything that is over 4 units or any other kind of structure. So, and that is required for any work that is an aggregate amount of over $50,000.
And you and I were chatting about this in the break here. This is important to know, especially because we always see a lot of folks come in, especially after a disaster, trying to help out, looking for work. A lot of times those folks may come from out of state. Is that an issue, or can those people from out of state also be licensed here in Louisiana?
Of course, we want help in recovery because often it's hard to find contractors to do the work. And the state of Louisiana does have reciprocal agreements with some other states. However, just because they have a license in a reciprocal state does not mean they can do work here. They still have to register with Louisiana. They still have to get the Louisiana license. They just have to show their credential and register with the Louisiana Licensing Board.
So as a homeowner, if you've got people coming around, and a lot of times you'll see people go door to door. They're knocking on doors, they're coming to you. How can you make sure that this person has a license? What should you ask? And then how can you verify?
So the very first thing is ask for their licensure. Where are you licensed and what is your license number? And then visit la.lslbc.gov. That's the Louisiana State Licensing Board of Contractors. And you can look up the contracting license by number or by name. It's easiest by number, and that contractor should have that number readily available for you.
And if you see that there and you see that they are licensed, then what sort of safeguards is that giving you, knowing that you can go forward with that work?
That ensures that your licensed contractor understands the rules, regulations, and laws in the state of Louisiana and is familiar with working on the structures that encounter the kinds of climatic impacts that we have here.
And you would think, too, that most of these folks who are coming in, whether they're from the state or out of state, they should know these rules too if they really want to do the work. Right?
It's true, but some people may come from other parts of the country that don't have the same humidity environment that we have, that have the same rain environment, and so they may not be used to dealing with some of the environmental impacts that we face here in South Louisiana.
Really, really important tips there, especially as so many folks I know are getting back up on their feet. So one more time again, where can they go check that information?
So licensure can be checked at la.lslbc.gov. And of course, we have resources on hbagno.org that can also help you get good contracts and make sure that the work gets done on your house correctly and protects you and your family and your investment.
That's what we want to see. All right, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. All right.